Look at this little van. This is the Maxi-Me. This is the third in the Me-Trilogy. The Me-Trilogy is comprised of the Midi-Me, the Midi-Me, and now we've got the Maxi-Me.
Ooh, yippee! Woohoo!
It's a little taller, a little wider, a little longer as they go through the trilogy. Look how cute this thing is.
Ooh, yippee! Maxi-Me! Maxi-Me!
It's a 118-inch wheelbase, low roof ProMaster 1500. It's got a cargo carrying capacity of 4,000 pounds, which is outrageous. We don't have anywhere near that in this build. But there's something about the 118-inch wheelbase, low roof. You would not get this kind of a feeling from a 136 mid-roof. So this van is limited to people who are 62 inches tall, 5'2". If you're taller than 5'2", you will not be able to stand up straight. But you don't stand up straight in a Mini-Me, and you don't stand up straight in a Midi-Me. But this one, for some reason, people think they need to stand up straight. I'm 5'7", and I've been working in this van for weeks and months, and I don't see it as a problem. Some people may, so this van won't be for you. But it is an adorable little beauty. Look at that little bunk window. Isn't that cute? We've got 400 watts of solar on the roof, and now we've chosen to start skirting our roof racks. We do our own homemade roof racks out of 80/20, and now we're skirting them in a starboard. So on the sides, we've got those little skirts to hide the rack, and there's a wind deflector up front. It integrates in nicely with the white van. Beautiful. We really are proud of this, and we had a lot of fun building it. Here's our 80/20 running board, and as you notice, with all of them, we carried the end corner of that running board much further aft of the door opening. Why do we do that, you ask? Because if you're coming in to enter the van here and the edge of that running board was there, ping, that's a shin buster. This corner is well out of the way, so your approach angle is safer. You don't have to worry so much about pinging your knee. Oh boy, it's a beautiful day to show a Maxi-Me. Maxi-Me 01. So 02 is already sold, and we'll be starting that in, when are we starting that? I think in 3 months. And then 03 is most likely gonna go under contract later this week. How cute. I just love this little van. Cute. And we have our Humble Road running boards on this side, and this owner has a dog. So what we did is we doubled up our running boards in the slider entryway, so the dog does not catch her paws inside between the 80/20s. We did that in a Mears van, and we realized that's a really nice feature when you've got dogs to worry about. Let's go inside. As we come up to the entry on the side slider here, you see our peninsula. This peninsula is actually the refrigerator box. And we've got a ventilation grill down there, and we put ventilation on the other side, so you'll never have a problem with the compressor. That little switch on the end is for the critter lights, and we put a little step light underneath the running boards for nighttime entry. As you come inside, oh, look how pretty this is. Look at this Maxi-Me. You've got another countertop here. You've got a portable TV. That's a DC TV on an arm, so you can watch it from bed, or you can watch it from your swivel seat here, and you can use your Trolino toilet as a hassock or an ottoman. So the passenger seat swivels, the driver's seat does not. Here is a little drawer under the passenger seat. We call it the pistol drawer because the first one we built was for Pistol the dog in the Vagabond build. He's a famous YouTuber, that dog. So let's go inside. Look at this Galley. Oh, I love it. I love it. This is maple. This Galley is a combination of maple, 80/20 and black laminate from Wilson Art. So we have a nice oversized sink. We did the 1-inch countertop with maple edge banding, and then our maple cabinets. Now this is the first galley that we've done that uses a plywood hoop construction, all done on the CNC with dados and rabbets glued and screwed together. A very, very nice move for the Me-Trilogy. There's a nice 3-tier pantry, and we finished the top of it in laminate so you could use it as a staging area when you're prepping. Look at the size of this countertop. Okay, once again, you've got to be 5'2" to stand up straight. If you're a little taller, you can turn your head, or like me at 5'7", if you stand in the fan, the Max Air fan area, I can stand up straight if I put my head in the Max Air fan. So you got to decide if this is right for you. It's not for everybody, not for everybody, but it's a solo traveler. As you can see, we deal, there's a slam latch, by the way. You saw this big cabinet down here under the sink, and we keep access to our fuses. We keep an eye on our water. We've got shutoffs under there. We've also got shutoffs in the back. I'll show you that plumbing compartment a little later on. Here is a utensil drawer. It's already got some stuff in it for the owner. This is a microwave cabinet. When you open it, the light goes on and you use your little microwave. If you don't want a microwave, that becomes a big, deep drawer, just like this one. So without the microwave, you would have 2 big, deep drawers. With the microwave, you have 1 deep drawer. Over here, we have our custom bulkhead that we put in every ProMaster. This we designed ourselves. It's in our CNC, and we use a combination of stair tread nosing, 80/20 treads, and our laminates and plywoods. Very nice. Up in the galley. Now, if you look at this galley and you're somewhat familiar with a Mini-Me or a Midi-Me, this is just a larger version. That's what we did here, is we took all of the proportions and aesthetic of the Mini-Me and we just grew it to fit into a Maxi-Me. Proportions are really nice. So your galley backs right up to the driver's seat. We left plenty of room for the driver. The new ProMasters are absolutely gorgeous. They're redesigned and they became very automotive. Very nice. And they still have their little shelf up above with the sun visor. So you come back over here in the galley. We've got this big shelf. Goes all the way down the full left and right length of the galley for storage. Then we've got this beautiful recessed storage bottle. I guess you would put all your bottles in there. Olive oils, vinegars, and your assorted booze bottles. Big prep area, nice big stainless steel sink. This one is much larger than the one we put in the Mini-Me, but we use the same faucet, and we've got our Acuva UV and cartridge filtered water. On this side of the galley, you see our little task lighting underneath the shelf. We got lighting in there. We've got lighting underneath the galley. There's our red night light. You can leave that on at night so you can get up if you have to. All of our electrical switches are touch dimmer, touch on and off, USB, USB-C, 120 volt AC, GFCI integrated into our switch panel. And the same thing down this end. We have another switch panel with some task lighting. Okay, water pump, USB, USB-C, and an integrated 120 volt GFCI outlet. So you've got plugs on both sides. We're powered. Here's our AC panel. So you've got 30 amps of AC. You can use that through the inverter. We have a Victron Multi-Plus 3000 inverter charger. And we are also running a Lithionics, the Big Mama Luke, the 640 amp hour, 12 volt lithium battery. That's 8,800 watt hours at 12 volt. So we've got our electric water heater by Bosch, air conditioner, microwave, outlets. That's your AC side. On this side of the van, as I said, here's our refrigerator box. This is the Cruise 115. We put one of these in Amir's full-size Ford van. Very nice size fridge for people food and a little freezer compartment there. And that gives us another prep area and work area right under the TV. Over here, we have the Serbo GX. We've got a couple of more light switches. Over here, we've got USB and 120 volt that pops up. And then you can put that down like that. And now our bedroom. Our bedroom has a large foot locker over the foot of the bed for your clothing. Here's our air conditioner. This is a Bel Air 3500. It's 13,000 BTU. It has a heat pump and soft start. So you got the trifecta there. This is a twin bed, 38 inches wide by 73.5 left to right. Here's that little bunk window. So the ventilation we have in the van is a reading light for when you're in bed. Puck lights above. Ventilation in the van is in the form of that window there. And then we put in a beautiful A&M window in the slider. So that window opens with a large screen in it. And we also had a custom Rolef night privacy shade made for that. You could send that halfway up if you wanted to just have some privacy and still get some ventilation. And then over here on this side, as you know, we have a Max Air fan. All right, let's go out back and take a look at that garage. You see it's wide open, so you could store a kayak if you wanted to. Bring that along with you in a Maxi-Me. Unheard of. Here's our Trillino toilet. That can be pulled out here and used as a hassock if you're sitting up in this chair watching TV. All right, let's go outside. What a beautiful day to be filming a van tour. So the back of the Maxi-Me is basically, I mean, this is a full-size ProMaster van, except it's a low roof and it's a shorty. But a lot of these systems are very similar to the bigger ProMasters. So here, as we come in from the side, let me start here with the bulkhead, a maple bulkhead. And I don't know if you can get a shot of it here. There is a storage cubby that comes all the way down the back of this bulkhead bed. So all the way down, you've got a lot of storage alongside the bed. That's a nice feature. We did that in Amir's van as well. So here you've got your garage light. There's the switch. And we've got freshwater fill. We've got an outdoor shower with a quick release. So you can put a curtain back here between the doors and take a shower, hot and cold. Can't beat that. On the electrical side, behind this inverter, you can see we've got all our components in a glass-covered compartment, so you can keep eyes on it. And if you have to, you can get in there. It's acrylic, but you can keep your eyes on everything. And yes, I did succumb to the Instagram lipstick fervor, and I put blue lights in there. I had to do it. Look, blue light. I had to do it. I was feeling left out. Everybody's doing all kinds of sexy colored lights, so I didn't want to appear boring. There's that Big Mama Luke, 8,800 watt hours. We've got the Victron Lynx distributor. Okay, everything's labeled. There's our DC fuse block down there. We got shutoffs. I've got my voltage regulator for the Max Air fan. I always put those in. Whether they tell me they fixed the problem or not, I put a voltage regulator on every Max Air fan. I've got two of the new Victron Orion 50 amp chargers. When you're driving, you're going to charge with 100 amps. And then there's 400 watts of solar on the roof in series. So that comes down into this 20 amp MPPT, additional charging, right? And you've got shore power. I've got 30 amps of shore power coming through a smart plug. On this side, look how big this garage is. It's wide open. Do you know how much stuff you can get in here? The 44,000 pound cargo carrying capacity. We didn't even come close to that. And what we did is we ran L-track down either side of this opening with a bunch of eyelets, so you could lock your stuff down very easily. So over here on the water side, I've got a Bosch 2.5 gallon water heater. That is a, I think it's 1500 watts. Let me see, 1440. 1440 for hot water. It takes about 15 minutes for that to come up from cold and you have hot water. 36 gallons of fresh water. See that white tank in there? Now that's one of the things that I'm going to change in future Maxi-Me's. That's just too big, not because of the weight. We've got everything balanced out beautifully. The refrigerator and the battery balance out that fresh water tank. And our gray is under the van, centered just ahead of the axle. It doesn't leave me enough room to do a proper job of access on my water connections back here. So in this van, this owner is going to enjoy the benefits of 36 gallons of fresh with baffle balls. Yeah, because we raised the center of gravity. We've got our water tank on a bridge over the wheel well, and we have our battery on a bridge over the wheel well. We've raised the center of gravity in the van. So I needed baffle balls. I don't want 36 gallons of water sloshing around. So this owner gets the benefit of 36 gallons of fresh. I get the heartache of having to take all of this apart in order to service those connections if I ever have to. And that goes against my access philosophy. But I was a little over-enthusiastic trying to give my customers as much fresh as I possibly could. And I did, but I need to back off because if we have to service these components, I want to work like a gentleman. So anyway, here's our water closet. Again, behind the acrylic. I've got my Acuvus sediment filter. I've got my UV box back there. All of my lines are valved and isolated. They're zoned off. We can shut off any part of this system if it goes bad and still enjoy the service of the rest of the system. That's, I think it's a 4 gallon per minute water pump by SureFlow, Pentair Aqua King. I like those pumps. They're relatively quiet and they're consistent. I haven't had one fail yet.